Hare Krishna. So, warm welcome to all the devotees who have joined today for our fortnightly satsang program. Um, so, today we're going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, verse 10 to 13, which we titled as Vinashaya dushkritam. So, let us see why that title came. Let's go read the verses quickly. So, in verse number 10, verse 10, Kalamagata Shalvatin Anikai Rundata Puram Ajiganat Swayam Divyam Swapum Sham Teja Adisat. Kalyavana, the king of Magadha, and Shalva attacked the city of Mathura. But when the city was encircled by their soldiers, the Lord refrained from killing them personally, just to show the power of his own men. Text 11. Shambaram Dvividam Banam Muram Balvalam Evacha Anyamscha Tantavakradin Avadit Kamsta Khatayat. Of kings like Shambara, Dvivida, Bana, Mura, Balvala, and many other demons such as Dantvakra. Some he killed himself, and some he caused to be killed by others, Shri Baladev, etc. Text 12. Yeah, text 12. Atharetha Athate Bhratre Putranam Pakshayo Patitan Ripan Chachala Bhu Kurukshetram Yesham Apatatam Palai. Then, O Vidura, the Lord caused all the kings, both the enemies and those on the side of your fighting nephews, to be killed in the battle of Kurukshetra. All those kings were so great and strong that the earth seemed to shake as they traversed the war field. And text 13. Sakarnadushasanasaubalanam kumantrapakena hata shriyashriyusham Shuyodaram sanuchalam chayanam Bhagnorum urvyam nanananda pashyam. Translation. Duryodhan was bereft of his fortune and duration of life because of the intricacy of ill advice given by Karna, Dushasan, and Saubala. When he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken, although he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Purport. The fall of Duryodhan, the leading son of Dhritarashtra, was not pleasing to the Lord, although he was on the side of Arjuna, and it was he who advised Bhima how to break the thighs of Duryodhan while the fight was going on. The Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer, but He's not happy to award such punishments because the living entities are originally His parts and parcels. He is harder than the thunderbolt for the wrongdoer and softer than the rose for the faithful. The wrongdoer is misled by bad associates and by ill advice, which is against the established principles of the Lord's order, and thus he becomes subject to punishment. The surest path to happiness is to live by the principles laid down by the Lord and not disobey his established laws, which are enacted in the Vedas and the Puranas for the forgetful living entities. Hare Krishna. So, this particular passage in the Srimad Bhagavatam from verse 10 to verse 13 is a very special passage of verses because here Krishna, he is talking about is actually Uddhava is talking about how Krishna killed so many demons during his course of his pastimes on this earth. He killed so many demons, and some he killed himself, and some he gave his empowered devotees. He gave them the chance to do that, and some he caused to be killed by others. So it is mentioned by Prabhupada here, Balram, etc. And then it is mentioned that this war of Mahabharat, which was fought, that war also was caused by Krishna. It is being said like that. He caused it to happen. And as a result of that, so many lakhs and crores of people and so many kings from all over the world were killed. So it's so it kind of connects with what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. And in the first part of the verse, the previous verse, he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. So these two verses, 4.7 and 4.8, are very powerful verses which give us a clue into why does the Lord even come to this material world. उनका यहाँ आने का क्या काम बना? What work does he have? So we'll try and discuss a little bit about this, but it is very important for us to first understand that why is this material world created like this in the first place? Like Radha Gopinath Prabhu also sometimes he quotes that song, no, that दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई काहे को दुनिया बनाई. Why did you make this material world? Why did you create this world? There is so much suffering, and joy and suffering both are there, but more suffering, more difficulty, more anxiety than one can have peace. काहे को दुनिया बनाई? Why did he make this world at all? So let us try to understand a little bit about this, that what is the nature of this material world, why it is created like this, and why are we here? हमारा यहाँ पे क्या काम? What work do we have here? How did we get here? So actually, Srila Prabhupada explains, in various places, and Acharyas explain that we have heard Bhagavad Gita, many times, that we are not this soul, we are the spirit soul which resides in this body. We are not this body, sorry, we are not the soul. We are not this body. It is a spirit soul which resides in this body. And that spirit soul is eternal. It cannot be killed. It cannot be cut. It cannot be wet. It cannot be burned. So anything that can be done to the material body cannot be done to the soul. In one sense, it is very simple. We find it difficult sometimes to accept the presence of the soul. But if you look at it, that you may be giving lot of love and affection to somebody, when they are alive. A lot of love, affection, a lot of tender care may be given to a person when they are alive. Uh, but the moment someone dies, right, immediately that same body, which you are massaging every day, you are carefully taking care, immediately we want to get rid. Even Radha Gopinath Prabhu gives this example that his aunt or somebody, they were married for 50 years. Some 50 years, their husband and wife were married, and when the husband passed away, he passed away in the evening or something like that. And they evening में अगर हुआ तो वो लोग cremation नहीं करते, next day cremation करते. So in the night, she was afraid to be in the same room as that dead body. So same person whom she's been serving for so many years, so lovingly, it was too difficult for her. So, what is the difference? It is the soul. The soul, in one sense, it is very common sense, but in one sense, it's very difficult to understand that the difference between a dead body and a living body is the presence of the soul. And that soul is eternal, does not die, just transmigrates from one body to another. Krishna says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jira, tatha dehantara prapte dhirastatra amriyati. So who are we then? Who are we? We are not these bodies. We are not this mind which keeps giving us ideas कि अभी ऐसे करो, अभी वैसे करो, अभी ये करो, ये मत करो. You know, we are not this mind. We are not this body. Then who are we? We, Krishna says that we are, Natve Vaham Jatu Nasam Natvam Devi Janadipa Nacheva na Bhavishyama Sarve Vayam Athabam. That never was there a time when we did not exist, all these kings, or never will there be a time when we did not exist. So we are eternal spiritual beings, spiritual souls, spirit souls, who are stuck in a particular kind of body. Right now, we are all sitting in this room because we are in a human body. Okay. Now, suppose after leaving this body, we enter into the body of a dog. Okay. And somehow we have some remembrance of previous life. And we come here to this door when somebody is coming in, we also come inside as a dog. Will not be very welcome here. No? Hey, chup, chup, chup. People will immediately shoo that person. That dog will be barking that no, I am that Shidama Sakada, I should do lectures over here. याद नहीं है आप लोगों को मैं वही हूँ लेकिन कोई पहचान नहीं करेगा ए भाग ऐसे right everyone will kick me out so we are actually spiritual beings okay eternal spiritual beings but we receive different bodies sometimes body of human sometimes body of animal sometimes body of insect plant reptile fish bird 84 lakh species of life are there according to the different kinds of karma that we have, according to different kinds of desires that we have. So many different types of bodies are there. If you have a desire to be extremely beautiful, okay, extremely beautiful, but a lot of sinful activities also there along with that, right? Maybe the desire will come true, but the sinful activity won't give you another human body. Maybe you'll be born as a peacock. Right? You'll be born as a peacock. So you're beautiful. Your desire is fulfilled. Everyone is admiring. Peacock को देखते सब लोग freeze. Right? Have you ever noticed? If anyone sees a peacock walking by, everyone just stops where they are. क्या respect मिलता है peacock को, right? कोई हिलेगा नहीं, सब वेट करते क्यों? क्योंकि क्या पता वापस ऐसा अपना वो पंख फैलाएगा और डांस करेगा कुछ एक सेकंड के लिए फिर हम लोग वीडियो लेंगे फिर हम लोग इंस्टा में डालेंगे फेसबुक में डालेंगे ये डालेंगे व्हाट्सएप में डालेंगे जो भी है राइट बट so we don't understand that what body we receive is as per what desires we have and what karma we have but actually we are spiritual beings who are eternally related to Krishna eternally related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in some sort of loving relationship in the spiritual world. We don't actually belong here. We don't belong. It is like हम लोग अपना रास्ता भूल के यहाँ आ गए हैं और यहीं पे हम लोग ने अपना ढेरा डाल दिया है. It is, you imagine that I live in Sindhi society, near Vivekanand school. I live there. But now suppose I come here, HPCL colony, or I come to PPCL colony, and I see कि यार greenery तो यहाँ अच्छी है. मेरे सिंधी सोसाइटी में तो खाली बिल्डिंग ही बिल्डिंग. All the greenery has vanished. तो मैं यहीं पे आके रह जाता हूँ. I'll stay here only. Right? So that is the illusion that we are in. Right now it's as foolish as that you don't belong here, but you want to be here. We actually belong to the spiritual world, but because Krishna has actually given free will to every living entity. Every spirit soul has free will. Free will. With that free will, we can decide to surrender to God. We can decide with that free will to enjoy. With that free will, we can decide to do pious activities, punya karma. We can decide with that same free will to destroy other people's property, make other people's life miserable. Free will से हम लोग कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. Krishna never interferes with our free will, but His will is higher than our will. So if our free will is to cause disturbance to others, But those others whom we have targeted our disturbance at, now suppose I decide that यहाँ पे जो ये 7 लोग बैठे हैं ना, मेरा disturbance इनके लिए है. I will target my disturbance at these 7 people. But if the Lord doesn't desire, if their karma doesn't, deserve that kind of disturbance, I will not succeed. I will try, but I will not succeed. So, very interesting. Because of this free will that we have, we became envious of Krishna. Even though we were in the spiritual world, we are living very blissfully over there, very happily are living there. But because of our tendency to want to enjoy separately from the Lord, why only the Lord is the enjoyer? Why only He should be the controller? Why only He should be the receiver of all glory? Why not me? The moment this thought comes and we become envious and we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, it is kind of incongruous. It doesn't mesh, it doesn't gel nahi hota hai with the whole mood of the spiritual world. The whole mood of the spiritual world is Ekala Ishwar Krishna Ar Sab Nitya. So there is one person who is the enjoyer or controller, there is a supreme Lord, God. And then the rest of us are there to assist in his enjoyment, to serve him. And in that service, we receive more bliss than we could possibly have in this material world by millions of times of magnitude. यहाँ पे मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में हम लोग कितना स्ट्रगल करते हैं, थोड़ा सा प्लेजर के लिए हम लोग कितना फाइट मारते हैं to get little bit of enjoyment, how hard we work, how much मेहनत we put, right? But then do we get that enjoyment? Does that enjoyment last? It doesn't. We all know. It doesn't last very long. It's gone like this, right? So, the Supreme Lord, because in the spiritual world, there's no place for this dissonance, this different, that I will do my own thing. Therefore, he says, all right, you want to enjoy separately? I will create a material world just for your enjoyment. Chalo. You be over there in that material world, you can function as enjoyer. You enjoy over there. You can be the controller. You can do what you want over there. All up to you, right? So he creates this material world so that it's not that you're just cast away into some jao tum koi kaal kotri mein baitho, mera rule nahi ho. It's not like some, hard imposition of the Lord's rules upon us. It is a loving relationship that is there. If that loving relationship gets disturbed, then we are told that okay, you live in another place where you be happy. On your own, you be happy, no problem. But He doesn't forsake us. He doesn't put us into some horrible place. He creates this material world where we can function as enjoyers and controllers, but according to our karma and according to our desires. But even when we come to this material world, we come like he says, okay, you're not in the spiritual world, you come to the material world. In this material world, he doesn't just leave us here. Go figure it out. देखो तुम अपना, मुझे क्या? मेरी बात सुन नहीं रहे हो, मेरे से मतलब मेरे साथ कोई रिश्ता रखना नहीं चाहते, जाओ जो करना है करो. No, he is not like that. Like a parent in this material world, even if the child, is forsaking the parents, the parent is not able to forsake the child because there's so much love. So he doesn't forsake. When we come to this material world, he gives us all guidance. All guidance is provided in form of the scriptures. The scriptures, his own devotees, he keeps sending his own devotees who help us to understand कि ये scripture मतलब क्या, ये सच भी है क्या, is it even real, ये हमारे जिंदगी में लागू भी होता है क्या, is it applicable in any way. See, we have so many doubts, no, because of our modern education. We have so many doubts. We are so self-sufficient, we are so well off that we feel कि भाई मुझे कोई चीज की जरूरत नहीं, I don't need anything, I don't need anybody, I'm good, right? And because of that, we don't even accept scriptures. So therefore, then he sends his devotees to come and sometimes, just gently nudge us. थोड़ा एक बार आ जाओ हमारे प्रोग्राम में आओ, हम लोग का हर हर फोर्टनाइट में होता है, आओ कभी मजे करो. come here, listen some Krishna Katha, have some nice prasad and go. So the devotees come, they push us. But through these scriptures, through the devotees, what happens? We come to understand the nature of this material world. ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड कैसा है लाइक वी स्टार्टेड बाय सेइंग ना दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई काहे को दुनिया बनाई तो काहे को दुनिया बनाई का आंसर स्क्रिप्चर में दिया गया है वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द नेचर ऑफ मटेरियल वर्ल्ड वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड द नेचर ऑफ कर्मा वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड आवर ओन नेचर वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड द नेचर ऑफ द लॉर्ड we can understand the influence of time and how all of these put together. We can understand the gunas, prakriti. Like see in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 topics. Now, what are the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone? 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita: Jiva, Jiva, Prakriti, Karma, Kala, and Ishwar, Supreme Lord. Right? So these 5 topics are there in the Bhagavad Gita. We learn the interaction of this. प्रकृति मतलब क्या मटेरियल नेचर हम लोग खाली सुनते हैं नेचर all everything in this world is happening because of nature right but what is this nature this prakriti is described in the Bhagavad Gita her workings are described in Bhagavad Gita in detail we can understand what is mode of goodness we can understand what is mode of passion what is mode of ignorance and how people in mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, mode of goodness, how do they act? What kind of food do they eat? What kind of charity do they give? Everything is given in the scripture, right? So, अगर आप यहाँ पे आए ही हो मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में, यहाँ पे कैसे जीना है, how to live here, all guidance is given, which teaches us the nature of the material world and how to live here happily. एक तरफ ये इस्लाम वाले बोलते रहते हैं दुखालयम 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 मटेरियल वर्ल्ड इज मिजरेबल प्लेस मटेरियल but still scripture does give us an indication if you follow these guidelines rules and regulations and you do this you live within this this varnashram daivi varnashram system you live within it you can be happy you can be fairly happy without much suffering आपका जिंदगी निकल जाएगा so all guidance is given that how to live here happily and how to finally leave the body and leave this material world also not just leave this body and take another body right it is like saying ki I have been kicked out of this lease ये body जो है lease पे है leave license पे है तो लीव लाइसेंस के बॉडी को हम लोग कितना डेकोरेट करते हैं like if you have a flat suppose you are staying on rent like most of you are staying here on rent right rent पे रहते हैं ना इधर एसपीसीआर रेंट पे रह रहे हैं यहाँ पे तो जब आप रेंट पे रह रहे हो अगर आपका रिटायरमेंट अभी 2 महीने बाद है 2 months 3 months you have a retirement and just 2 months before retirement you say घर की पॉलिशिंग कर लेते हैं लेट्स पेंटिंग कर लेते हैं लेट्स डू फुल रीडू द होल हाउस पेंटिंग करते हैं इंटीरियर सब चकाचक बनाते हैं हाँ एंड एचपीसीएल एडमिन एंड एचआर सेस कि नहीं है अभी नहीं कर सकते आपका 2 ही महीना बचा है वी कांट डू कोई बात नहीं मैं अपने खर्चे पे करूँ अपने खर्चे पे करूंगा मैं आई विल रीडू द हाउस सो व्हाट विल द वर्ल्ड थिंक अबाउट अस इफ वी डू दिस This is foolish. This is just foolishness. The 2 महीने में you are going to be kicked out of this house and तुम बड़े यहाँ पे इतना डेकोरेशन कर रहे हो इतना फाइट मार रहे हो उसका इंटीरियर रीडू करेंगे मैंने सुना है नया आइकिया खुला है आइकिया का सब सामान लाके एकदम एकदम यूरोपियन लुक देंगे घर अरे बाबा तुम्हारे पास 2 महीना बचा है इस घर में इतना क्यों फाइट मार रहे हो राइट you will think like that no but now think that house where you're staying that rented place where you're staying is your body it's your body and you are the spirit soul living in this rented house ये घर जो है भाड़े का घर है ये शरीर ये आपको पता नहीं है कि कब ये जवाब दे देगा किसी को नहीं मालूम right we don't know when an accident may happen a heart attack may come a stroke may happen We never know. Who knows? Who knows for sure? कौन एकदम मतलब गारंटी के साथ बोल सकता है कि मुझे कुछ नहीं होगा? You know, there is this story in the Mahabharata that once Yudhishthir and Yudhishthir was in the he was giving charity to all the brahmanas, who would come to the sabha, and वो सब होने के बाद फिर all the brahmanas went away, and then जो kingdom का जो सब discussions है वो सब चल रहा था, very intense discussions were coming, and towards the evening one brahmana came and said, Bhavati Viksham Devi, oh dear Dharmaraj, please give some Viksha, please give some charity to Brahmana who has come to your doorstep. So Yudhishthir was already under so much pressure because इतना सब intense discussion चल रहा था. He said, see, I will give you charity. अभी मैं दूंगा तो मतलब इतना दिल से नहीं दे पाऊंगा. आप कल सुबह आओ एकदम मतलब I will give you whatever you want. एकदम खुशी से दूंगा. I will give much more charity. Please come tomorrow. Brahmana is very happy. He goes away. Well, he thinks अरे अच्छा है अभी आया end of days लेने में था थोड़ा सा ही कुछ मिलेगा. कल सुबह आऊंगा तो fresh एकदम अच्छे से मिलेगा. He goes away happy. And Bhima is watching all this. Bhima. So when he sees this, he goes out of the Raj Sabha. He goes outside and he goes to the city square. वहाँ पे वो बड़ा ड्रम रखा रहता है ना, हाँ, नगाड़ा नगाड़ा रखा, वो नगाड़ा जाके डम 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 जोर जोर से बजाने लगता है. And सब जमा, नगाड़ा is played when you want to सबको जमा करने का है, तो सारा शहर सब जमा हो जाते हैं. युधिष्ठिर महाराज भी आ जाते हैं. And Bhima says, I have to make one very important announcement. सब जमा हो गए. And then they say, क्या है? What is your important announcement? Bhima says, there is a very, very good news. क्या good news? My brother Yudhishthir has conquered death. सब लोग देख रहे हैं क्या बोल रहा है. And Yudhishthir Maharaj also is looking at him कि क्या बोल रहा है? He has conquered death. मतलब what is this? What is he saying? So Bhima says, there was a Brahmana who had come to him to ask for charity. And he told him that you come tomorrow morning, and tomorrow morning I will give you charity. That means he knows for sure that he will live till tomorrow, which means he has conquered it. So Yudhishthir very sheepishly he says, I get the lesson. वो ब्राह्मण को वापस बुलाओ, अभी दे देता charity. So even a great soul like Dharmaraj, he also does not know when he is going to die. No one knows, right? So, we have come in this material world, and we are going to leave our body at some point of time or the other. But how to live in this world and how to leave this world, all this is taught to us in scriptures. In the Bhagavatam, in the Puranas, in the Bhagavad Gita, so much instruction is given so that we can learn. So one is material world बनाया, दूसरा यहाँ पे आए हो तो यहाँ पे कैसे जीना है, मरना, जीना यहाँ, मरना यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ, but how to live and die in this material world is also taught. Then the Lord also gives us everything that we need to survive. First of all, for self management, अपना खुद का शरीर मेंटेन करने के लिए भगवान ने सब कुछ दिया है. If you see the study of Ayurveda doesn't use chemicals. What does it use? Naturally available herbs, roots, leaves, shrubs, plants, fruits, flowers. This is what Ayurveda uses, which is abundantly available in the world. Given by whom? वो आयुर्वेदा का डॉक्टर ने खुद से पैदा किया उसको कि मेरे को एक ट्रीटमेंट देने का है तो मैं एक नया स्पीशीज बनाऊंगा of plant or root or herb. No, it's there. But where did that vidya come from? Do you sincerely believe, just logically एक बार सोचो, do you believe that someone would have actually gone and cut roots of so many trees, and then for one person who is sick, चलो ये रूट ट्राई करते हैं, फिर ये ट्राई करते हैं, फिर ये ट्राई करते हैं, फिर ये ट्राई करते हैं, मतलब हजारों रूट ट्राई करके ये वाला रूट काम कर गया ये डिजीज पे. नो, this vidya was there as ayurveda. Veda means knowledge. Ayurveda means that knowledge which relates to ayur, the duration of life. It is amazing. So all information is given to us. सब ready made दिया है कि तुमको यहाँ पे रहना है, कोई दवाई बनाने का जरूरत नहीं है. No need to put together so many chemicals to improve your health. Everything is there available over here easily. Why to even look outside? कभी-कभी लोग बोलते हैं ना अपना हाथ जगन्नाथ, अपना हाथ में ही, everyone has heard about acupressure, acupuncture. Yeah, magic that with your hand you can cure yourself. Of course, if you've got some very severe problem, maybe acupressure, acupuncture may not work. But I swear by it. I have seen it for the last 30, 40 years. I've been using acupuncture, acupressure. It just works. So there are points in your hand and your foot which are connected to different parts of the body. You press that point. I don't know how exactly the science behind it works, but you press that point and some electrical impulse is going through the nerves to that particular organ, and maybe some proteins or some enzymes or something is being sent from different part of the body to make that organ proper again. हाथ के अंदर ही सब कुछ दिया है, जादू, मैजिक. Don't need to go anywhere. चलो आपको आयुर्वेद नहीं चाहिए, रूट्स में बिलीव नहीं करते, कोई बात नहीं, अपने हाथ से कुछ को ठीक करो. चलो आपको वो भी नहीं करना है, आपको लूज मोशन हो गया है. We are to be taught when you have loose motion what you should do. Just don't eat, just fast. Just fast and you'll be better. वो हम लोग कर नहीं पाते हैं, हमारा tongue is controlling us all the time. So therefore we still eat. And therefore our loose motion doesn't get cured only. Just by water and fasting. Water fasting के साथ आदमी का पेट खराब हुआ है तो ठीक हो जाता है. He has given us a self-healing body. You catch a cold, a severe cold, leave it. बोलते हैं ना, दवाई लो तो 7 दिन, दवाई ना लो तो 1 हफ्ता. उतना ही टाइम लगता है. The body, it is not the medicine which cures us. The medicine assists the body in curing us. Curing is happening in the body only. It's a self-healing body. Isn't it miraculous? Isn't it amazing? आपका हाथ कट गया, अपने आप ठीक हो जाता है. मतलब अरे, we take this for granted that there are so many, in your hand, in the hand का जो skin है, उसमें there are, if you just take a small 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter square, उतना छोटा square लिया आपने, उसमें there are some maybe hundreds of nerve endings and capillaries providing blood and sensation to that 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. उसको आपने pierce किया, खून बाहर आया, अपने आप clot हो जाता है. Unless you have that, क्या hemophilia होता है, इसमें blood जाते रहता है, hemophilia, ना, hemophilia. So unless you have that, you're good. Your body heals itself. Unbelievable, right? So He has given us a self-healing body. He has given us, the Lord in this material world, आए हो तो चलो तुमको यहाँ पे enjoy करना है. He has given us working senses. We are able to see. Still, no camera has been made which is as powerful as the human eye. There is nothing. If you go and stand in front of a mountain, and you see the beautiful scenery in front of you, can any camera capture like the eye can? We are still, maybe one day we will, maybe एक दिन शायद आँख उतना जैसे कुछ जैसा The most powerful cameras that you get today are around 150 megapixel or something, or 500 megapixel ऐसा कुछ है. The eye has got some 15,000 or 25,000 megapixel. ऐसा कुछ तो, I don't know the exact numbers, but some ridiculous factor of magnitude. That is the power of the human eye. ऐसे ही जो बच्चा पैदा होता है ना, इतना छोटा बच्चा, उसको भी वही पावर है देखने का. When they are born, they have those eyes. They're born with that. They're born with ears. They're born with a nose. They're born with fingers for sensing. They're born with the instinct at what point they start, they're lying on their back, what point they start turning over. Keep मदर उनको ट्रेन नहीं कर रही, बेटा चलो अभी तेरा टाइम हो गया, तेरे 2 महीना हो गया, अब तू ना थोड़ा पलट पलट पलट. नहीं, वो खुद पलटने लगता है बच्चा, खुद. एंड पलटने के बाद पेट पे वो फिर अपना नेक ऐसे ऐसे करने लगता है. Have you seen? The child tries to raise the neck like this. What is the neck? What is the child doing? He or she is strengthening her or his neck and back muscles. वो जो हम लोग भुजंगासन करते हैं, बच्चे को पहले ही मालूम है भुजंगासन करने का. माँ ने सिखाया क्या, बेटा अभी भुजंगासन करने का टाइम आ गया, जरा अभी चालू कर जाओ बेटा. No, it's just instinct. It's just happening, right? At some point, then he starts lifting himself. Arms, legs become stronger. Everything is just automatic. कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, अपने आप हो रहा है, right? So all senses the Lord has given to enjoy and interact with the sense objects in this world. जो कुछ भी चाहिए सब दिया है. Then you want to survive also, no? You don't want to only enjoy, you have to survive also. We need food, food is provided. We need water, water is provided. We need air, air is provided. We need light, light is provided. Everything is there. See, if you start thinking a little bit, just become conscious. What degree of thinking has gone into this material world? Just the body, you don't need to go beyond the body to see what amazing miracles the Lord has created, right? So he's done all this for whom? किसके लिए किया है? अच्छा बेटा तुम मेरे से अलग रहना चाहते हो, मटेरियल बॉडी चाहिए, मटेरियल बॉडी चाहिए तो उसके लिए तुमको सेंसेस लगेंगे, तुमको पानी लगेगा, खाना लगेगा, लाइट लगेगा, हवा लगेगा, अच्छे सुंदर जगह. You want to thrive also. You don't want to just live. You want to enjoy, you want to thrive. So you need a lot of natural resources. You need metals, you need petrochemicals, you will need natural gas, you will need nickel, chromium, steel, iron, cobalt, सब है, everything is there. जो चाहिए सब है. Imagine you use this mobile phone, there are maybe some 20-30 different chemicals that are going into it, right? कौन बनाया ये सब? भगवान ने दिया है. Everything. We are just, yes, there is the human intelligence that is going into it. You say human intelligence को आप कुछ credit ही नहीं दे रहे प्रभु जी, ऐसा कैसा? कुछ तो credit दो. देंगे ना, जरूर देंगे. But what are we doing? We are simply taking the resources that God has given us and we are doing choo. That's all. There is this joke that maybe 500 years from now, okay, it's a joke, don't take it seriously, but 500 years from now, the scientists became so advanced that simply matti se they could create a human being. Okay, so the scientists decided to challenge God कि आप आदमी बनाओ, मैं भी आदमी बनाता हूँ, let's see किसका आदमी ज्यादा अच्छा होता है. God says okay, done, हो जाए, मजा आएगा, let's have the competition. So then the designated day arrives. Scientist खड़ा है, भगवान खड़े हैं, और साइंटिस्ट बोलता है चलो शुरू हो जाए. हाँ शुरू हो जाए. तो साइंटिस्ट पहले मट्टी में हाथ डालने लगता है, तो भगवान बोलते रुको, गो गेट योर ओन मट्टी. मट्टी भी मैंने ही दी है, जिस मट्टी से तुम बोल रहे हैं बनाएगा, वो मट्टी भी मैंने ही दी है, खुद का मट्टी बनाओ. बना सकते हैं. Talk to an environmentalist. It takes 500 years to make 1 inch of soil. The top soil जो बोलते हैं, top soil जिसमें सब all the fertility is there. 500 years to make 1 inch of soil. हमारे पास तो सब ready-made है, मजे कर रहे हैं हम लोग, right? But imagine all this is given by the Lord. To thrive, natural resources. There's so much natural beauty in this world. So much. If you just look at if you just step out of this room, abhi mat karna, baad mein karna, but if you just step out of this room and just look at the trees over here, so gorgeous. हम लोग को क्या होता है ना, हम लोग एक कॉलोनी में रहते हैं, घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, क्या रोज दिखते हैं इसको. It's such a beautiful thing. There are mountains so close by. थोड़ा आगे जाएंगे, यहाँ पे mountains भी है ना. वो अपना अनुराधा लीला माता जी के घर के बाजू में था mountains. Touching her house, there was mountains. अपना अंजू माता जी, right? Mountains were touching her place, and such beautiful trees and so nicely everything is organized over here. So beautiful. You go to Mathiran, you go to Far East or wherever you go, natural beauty is there everywhere. Every country in the world has some form of natural beauty. So the people living there can, Sundar. He has given us music. God has given us music. God has given us dance. God has given us art. You want to enjoy? Take this. How's this for enjoyment? Everything God has provided, right? So He's so merciful. As I said, He's given for self-management for the body. He is given for our survival, food, water, light, air. And to thrive, He has given us natural resources. He's given us all these things. Even the management of the world, okay? If you look at even the management of this world has been organized by the Lord in the form of these 4 varnas and ashrams. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chatur varnam maya shrishtam, guna karma vibhagashaha. So he says that these 4 varnas are created by me. So all this ladai that is going on today, caste system, Krishna is saying, I created it. How Krishna created something like this? इसमें इतना लड़ाई हो रहा है. That means God is not perfect. No, He is. He is perfect, and whatever He does is perfect. The caste system is something that is created by us, not created by Krishna. What Krishna has created is varnas, and varna is guna karma vibhagasha. He doesn't say guna janma vibhagasha. भाई तू ब्राह्मण के परिवार में पैदा हुआ है क्या? तू ब्राह्मण, किसी और परिवार में पैदा तू ब्राह्मण. He has never said that. He has only said guna karma vibhagasha. So between the different 4 varnas and the 4 ashrams, a whole management system is given so that human beings can coexist, thrive while we are here. Everything is there. And that Daivi Varnashram system, if we understand, if we go into the depth of Daivi Varnashram system, that is one topic for one lecture only, 1 or 2 lectures. But this Daivi Varnashram system, if we simply follow it sincerely, automatically it takes us towards the path of God at some point. It just kind of it's like तुम वो वीटी की तरफ के ट्रेन में बैठे तो वो ट्रेन अल्टीमेटली वीटी ही पहुंचेगी, भले बीच में 50 बार रुकेगी, सिग्नल पे, विक्रोली पे, इधर उधर सब रुक रुक के जाएगी, मस्जिद में 15 मिनट रुकेगी, कोई बात नहीं, अल्टीमेटली वो वीटी पहुंचेगी. Daivi Varnashram is like that. It will ultimately take you back to God if you follow sincerely. So, even while we are here, the Daivi Varnashram system helps us to coexist peacefully. How, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, then the Brahmachari, then the Brahmachari, Grasta, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi, these 4 varnas, 4 ashrams, how they can coexist, created by the Lord, perfect management system. And when finally we get the desire, मतलब वो डिजायर आते आते बहुत समय लग जाता है, बहुत जनों को कभी नहीं आता वो डिजायर. But when we get this desire to understand and surrender to God, it's one thing to understand, I know God is great, yes sir, accepted. मान लिया God is great, but I am not great. So therefore I will not surrender. Right? ये हम लोग का ऐसा एटीट्यूड है कि हम लोग कहते हैं God is great, accepted. आपको समझ गया God is great, आप करो. Very good. Keep it up. मुझे बख्श दो. That is our general attitude, है ना? तो when we decide that we want to surrender to God, He has given various systems. Various systems have been given through which we can surrender to God and take shelter according to our nature and get liberated from this material world. आपका नेचर है कि आपको आप बहुत इंटेलेक्चुअल हो, देयर इज ज्ञान नहीं होगा. आपका नेचर है कि भाई हमको ये सब नहीं समझना है, हम तो खाली कर्मी है, हम कर्म करते हैं, तो थ्रू कर्म योगा हाउ टू प्यूरिफाई योरसेल्फ, दैट सिस्टम इज देयर. आपको बैठ के मेडिटेशन करना अच्छा लगता है, देयर इज ध्यान योगा. इफ यू आर डायरेक्टली विलिंग टू कनेक्ट टू गॉड, देयर इज भक्ति योगा. एवरीथिंग यथाशक्ति आपका जैसा गुण है, जैसे आपका नेचर है, आप वैसा पिकअप कर सकते हो. Everything, and all the direction is also given that for this yuga this is there, for this yuga this is there, for this yuga this is there. So according to the influence of time, जो situation है बाहर, वो हिसाब से आपको ये फॉलो करना recommended है, लेकिन करना है जो करो. Such freedom is given to us. Yet इतना सब हमको देने के बाद भी, and I'm finally coming to the topic of today's lecture. Despite being given all this, with the influence of time, there are some living entities who use their free will. As I said at the start, God never takes away the free will of the living entity. So what free will we have, they misuse that free will in this material world to go against the laws of nature, to go against the laws of God. They use their God given intelligence only. जो भगवान ने जो इंटेलिजेंस दिया है, वही इंटेलिजेंस यूज करते हैं टू से दैट गॉड डजंट एग्जिस्ट. मैं नहीं मानता भगवान एग्जिस्ट. ये स्क्रिप्चर विक्चर ये सब वह नहीं, सब दिस ऑल सुपरस्टिशन. आई डोंट एक्सेप्ट. They use their intelligence, God given intelligence, for what? To feed their own greed. There is no limit to greed. There is no end to greed, right? You say there is enough in this world for all people's needs, but there isn't enough for one person's greed. Because greed is unlimited. They use their intelligence to feed their greed, to feed their own lust, to feed their ambition instead. Instead of using that intelligence to कि यार मैं यहाँ हूँ, इतने जन्म से मैं यहाँ अटका हुआ हूँ, यहाँ से निकलने का कोई रास्ता है क्या? ये rented house से निकलने का क्या रास्ता है, बताओ. Right? No, but we use our intelligence to how to further beautify this rented house. मेरे पास 2 BHK वाला है, मेरे को अभी 4 BHK पेंट हाउस चाहिए, इसमें अटैच स्विमिंग पूल भी हो. हम लोग का यही लगा रहता है, right? So we use our intelligence to feed our greed, and then, as it is mentioned in the purport of 13th verse, such people, they refuse to even take, like Duryodhan, for example, the story that is quoted over here, that Duryodhan, when he was born itself, actually, there were a lot of indications that this is an inauspicious child. You know, the moment he was born, there were jackals that were howling, and there was, the sun was disappeared, and there was thunder, lightning, and vultures were roaming in the sky. It was like a very inauspicious thing. So the assembled sages, Vyasdev and various other people, Vidura and everyone advised कि देखो आपके पास 100 पुत्र हैं, 100. This one son ना इसको छोड़ दो आप इसको relinquish this one son, you will still have 99 children. But if you maintain this one child ये आपके सारे खानदान को खा जाए. तो पहले ही प्रेडिक्ट किया था. मतलब मैच वाज ऑलरेडी फिक्स्ड, बट अंपायर रिफ्यूज टू बच. नहीं, मैच फिक्स्ड है, फिर भी मैं तो खेलेगा, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंड. एंड दिस पर्सन Duryodhan, when he grew up, when he started growing up, as it is mentioned in this verse number 13, whom was he taking advice from? He was taking advice from ill advice given by Karna, Dushasan, and Saubala. Saubala is Shakuni. The son of Subala is Saubala. So Shakuni, Karna, and Dushasan, they were his advisors. So every time, Duryodhan was frustrated by destiny. See, destiny is very strong. You may have your plans, but if the Lord doesn't, as I said at the start, right? If I have decided to harass these people, if the Lord doesn't want them to be harassed, they will not be harassed. उनको कुछ मैं कर नहीं पाऊंगा, उनका बाल बांका नहीं कर पाऊंगा. So ऐसे ही दुर्योधन used to keep making plans, and plan कौन देता था उसको? Shakuni used to make the plan, and वो plan is to keep failing. But he still had hope. नहीं शकुनी होटल फिर से कुछ करते हैं, कुछ ना कुछ तो ये बार we will do properly, कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा. But every time his plan is to get destroyed. And then, because Karna was there, he felt that Karna is very powerful. Already Bhishma is with me. He will never leave the kingdom of Kurukshetra. Drona also, उन्होंने भी मेरे पिता का नमक खाया, तो वो तो कहीं जा नहीं रहे. And Karna भी मेरे साथ है, तो ये पांच पांडव क्या उखाड़ लेंगे मेरा. So that was the confidence he had. He had confidence because of Karna, and he was ill advised. He was getting from Karna, Saubala, and Dushasan. So this is the nature of people in this world. Unfortunate people, they refuse to take good counsel. So ऐसा नहीं है कि लोगों ने उसको बताया नहीं, बहुत लोग ने बताया. विदुर ने बोला, भीष्मा ने बताया. So many, even Dronacharya told him that you are making mistake. Don't do this. Kripacharya told him. There were many people. His own mother Gandhari, she tried. She tried very hard because she was not supportive of what her husband was doing. She knew that वो गलत कर रहा है. तो उसने बहुत ट्राई किया दुर्योधन का behavior change करने. As they say, as Radha Upaya Prabhu says, a man convinced against his will, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. मतलब against his will आपने उसको convince किया, उसका opinion नहीं बदला. Opinion doesn't change. Why say, there are people like that, very stubborn. Like there's this story. My mother used to tell me this story. बचपन में ये बोला था. एक आदमी और औरत थे, husband and wife. तो उनका जो था हमेशा कोई ना कोई बात पे झगड़ा होता था. बस husband was also stubborn, wife was also stubborn. So एक बार क्या हुआ, husband haircut करके वापस आ गए. Haircut करके आया, तो वाइफ ने बोला क्या बात है, एक बार बाल थोड़ा छोटा काटा. हाँ छोटा काटा. तो उसने बोला हाँ, उसको मैंने बोला वो मशीन लगाने को बोला, उसको मशीन से काटा तो उसके लिए इतना शॉर्ट हो. शी सेड नहीं, मशीन का नहीं, ये सीजर से काटा है. तो उसने बोला कि अरे देख, बाल मैंने काटा है ना. I know, I went to the barber shop and he used that machine. That's why ऐसा crooked जैसा feeling आया है. तुम्हें कुछ मालूम नहीं है, you don't understand. इस सीजर से ही ऐसे बाल कर सकते हैं, और कोई तरीका. So now you can imagine argument शुरू हो गया. तो the husband ने तो उसको समझाने का कोशिश किया, देख तू ऐसा फालतू का आर्गुमेंट मत कर मेरे साथ, मैं तो बता रहा हूँ, please understand, I am telling you that I went and had a haircut, I know that he didn't use a scissor, तो ऐसा कैसा बोल सकती है. And she is like, तुम तो बेवकूफ हो, हमेशा ऐसे ही आर्ग्यू करते हो, तुम्हें समझ में नहीं आता है, ये वो she arguing away like anything. So finally he lost it. He said, लास्ट में तेरे को बता, he took her to the river तक उसको लेके गया, और देख तो अभी तू आर्ग्यू किया ना, तो मैं तेको ये पानी में डुबा दूं. She says, कुछ भी हो जाए मैं मेरा पोजीशन छोड़ूंगी नहीं, ये सीजर का ही हेयर कट. तो उसको पानी के अंदर लेके गया और उसको यहाँ तक पानी तक लेके गया और बोला देख अभी भी चांस है, ऐसा मत कर, प्लीज डोंट आर्ग्यू ओवर समथिंग दैट इज नॉट वर्थ इट, तेरा जान चला जाएगा इसमें. She said, नहीं, कैंची से ही काटा है. तो फाइनली उसने उसका सर जो है पानी के अंदर डाल दिया. He put her head inside the water, and after he put her head inside the water, he shouted out that सुनो एक लास्ट चांस दे रहा हूँ, अभी तो बोलो. You know what she did? She raised her hand from the water. She said, "कैंची, मतलब मरूंगी लेकिन मैं मेरा पोजीशन नहीं छोड़ूंगी." Right? So there are people like this. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion. Still, they will never change their opinion. Duryodhana was like that. So the demoniac nature is like this, that even if good counsel is given, even if good advice is given based on scripture, based on personal experience and realizations of these sadhus, they tell, but no, he refuses to listen. So a demoniac person, such people who use their free will to go against the laws, भगवान ने सब सेटिंग करके दिया है, as we discussed, everything is set perfectly. आपको यहाँ रहना है, कंफर्टेबली अच्छे से रहो, बट नहीं, हम तो अपना खुद का करेंगे. आई एम मोर इंटेलिजेंट देन हिम, मैं अपना सेटिंग खुद करूंगा. So we break the laws of the Lord. We refuse to take good counsel of elders, good advice is given by elders, other members of society, lawmakers of society. कुछ सुनने को तैयार नहीं, and they become, like demons. You may say demon मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि उनका यहाँ से सिंग निकल रहा है, ऐसा बड़ा बड़ा दांत है. No, they can look very, fair and very ये, but they can still be demons. कोई भरोसा नहीं है. So then such people, what do? They use their power, what power they have, right? They use that power to become more powerful. होता है ना, जिसके पास पावर है वो पावर लेके और पावरफुल, like what we are seeing in Russia and Ukraine. इतना पावर है तो उस पावर को यूज करके और पावरफुल. I'll usurp the annexed Ukraine, then he will take Crimea, then he will take all the neighboring countries. मतलब वो रुकने वाला नहीं है, ये वर्ल्ड वॉर करके ही छोड़ेगा, ऐसा लग रहा है from all signs. So they use their power to become even more powerful. They collect similar minded people, और फिर जमा करते, गैंग बनाते अपना. You will see even companies में, corporates में, there are some corporates which are just उनका DNA ही corrupt है. वो शुरू से ही corrupt DNA रहता है उनका, और वो ऐसे ही लोगों को attract करते हैं. And there are some, corporates which are just very naturally very ethical. Very ethical. हम मतलब डूब जाएगी कंपनियां, हम गलत काम नहीं करेंगे, right? So बोलते हैं जैसा रंग क्या, जैसा संग वैसा रंग. So these people, they associate with each other, and they take association of similar demoniac people like Duryodhana was doing. We also do that, and then we get conviction. Like Duryodhana got conviction what he is doing is right, though there are 100 people who are telling him that it is wrong. Raman was advised by so many people. अरे तेरे पास इतने सारे beautiful wives हैं, they've got so much. Mandodari is like a goddess. She is so beautiful. She is so chaste to you. Why? ये एक औरत के लिए छोड़ दो ना उसको, अभी तो छोड़ो. इतने सारे मर गए. So many people died. विभीषण छोड़ के चला गया, मेघनाथ मर गया, कुंभकर्ण मर गया, उसके कितने सारे बेटे मर गए, generals got killed, everyone got killed, but he refused to take advice. बोलते हैं ना, विनाश काले विपरीत बुद्धि. So this is what is the viparita buddhi of these demoniac people. They use their power, they collect similar minded persons, they build gangs, they build armies, and then they start to terrorize the innocent citizens. These people, more and more they become powerful, they start making the lives of ordinary people miserable. Now when this troublemaking becomes too intense, when this troublemaking that these demoniac people are doing, when it becomes too intense, okay, and there is a predominant rise of irreligion. मतलब religion है, भगवान ने religion दिया है, लेकिन irreligion starts becoming more prominent. What is that? Abhyudhanam adharmasya. When this adharma becomes prominent. Abhyutthana means prominent. When it becomes prominent, tadatmanam shrijamyaham. I will come. And when this troublemaking becomes intense, abhyuttanam adharmasya, and it spreads to affect the life of his devotees also, then what happens? Either the devotees themselves come to Krishna and beg for his mercy, my Lord, I am not able to practice bhakti, please save me. Either the devotees themselves approach, or on behalf of them, someone approaches Krishna. And then, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya, to re-establish dharma, sambhavami yuge yuge. He keeps coming from time to time. And when Krishna comes, tries to re-establish what is dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. The Lord comes and establishes dharma. Dharma is not what मुझे लगता है I am very intelligent person. I am philosopher. That means I will decide what is dharma. No. You may be the most genius person of this world. Highest IQ, 200 का IQ रहेगा आपका. But dharmam to sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. The Lord comes and establishes dharma. He removes the imbalance and destroys the miscreants. That is when he comes as Vinashaya cha dushkritam. He comes to destroy the miscreants. And in this endeavor, when he has to destroy the miscreants, sometimes he does it himself. He personally comes. You know, as Varadev, he came and he killed Hiranyaksha. As Narsimdev, he came and he killed Hiranyakashipu. Matlab, it's like a very exotic, esoteric, incarnation of the Lord, which came for only one. एक ही बार आए. नरसिंहदेव का और कहीं जिक्र नहीं आता ज्यादा. He just came to protect his devotee Prahlad, who was being harassed by Hiranyakashipu. So when Hiranyakashipu had become so all-powerful because of the boons that he had taken from Brahma, the demigods went to Lord Vishnu and prayed, "My Lord, this person is so powerful that मतलब हम लोग he has changed the laws of nature. उसको जब चाहिए समर के बीच में कूल वेदर रहता है, कूल वेदर के विंटर के बीच में समर आ जाता है, वो कुछ भी कर सकता है. He has changed the laws of nature. It's so powerful. It's crazy. Do something." So the Lord says that when this person offends my great devotee Prahlad, that's when I will come and I will destroy him. So Lord came personally to destroy. Okay. Then he comes sometimes as Parashuram. Parashuram means like, he's like a killing machine. If you read the story of Parashuram in the Puranas, he is the most efficient killing machine. जो फिल्मों में दिखाते हैं ना, कोई हीरो आता है, खाच 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 keeps killing people left right center. इसको लात मारा, वो गाड़ी में जाके गिर गया, दूसरे को लात मारा, वो कोई दुकान का कांच जाके तोड़ दिया, ये वो धाड़ 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 killing. So Parshuram is like that super efficient killing machine because he destroyed 21 generations of Kshatriyas. पूरा ऐसा root से उखाड़ के मारा, ऐसा, because the Kshatriyas had become so corrupt, so that so much there was irreligion that he said that मतलब जड़ से उखाड़ो इनको. I kept doing. That's Parshuram. And there is Lord Ram, Ramchandra. When Lord Ramchandra came in his incarnation, he also came and he destroyed the demons. It's very beautiful how he destroyed. Of course, when Ram destroyed, also it was a very beautiful sight. When you imagine someone who is as wondrously beautiful as Lord Ram, and he's standing in front of you and you're shooting arrows. Most of the time, I suppose the demons were stunned. Just see, इतना सुंदर कौन व्यक्ति है, right? But it is described that when these Khardushan, na, jo brothers of Shurpanakha, also brothers of Raman, because Shurpanakha is Raman's sister. So Khardushan, when Shurpanakha's nose was cut off in Nasik, it was cut off, and she went to Khardushan and she said that, अरे इसने मेरा ऐसा ऐसा किया. I just approached him and see what he has done to your sister. You must take revenge. So Khardushan said, हाँ, revenge तो लेना चाहिए. They went with 14,000 soldiers. 14,000 soldiers they went, and they attacked Ram. So as it is said that in these verses that sometimes the Lord kills himself, khud marte hain. Sometimes he gives the credit for it to his devotees, and sometimes he takes assistance of other incarnations or whatever. But in this particular incarnation, when Khardushan came, Lakshman saw, with Lakshman, Ram and Sita are staying in one small kutia in the forest, and they see this, army coming. तो लक्ष्मण बोलते हैं कि लॉर्ड आप जो है मदर सीता को लेके इस गुफा में जाओ, मैं संभाल लूंगा इनको, आप चिंता मत करो. तो राम बोलते हैं नहीं, आई विल फाइट. लक्ष्मण से क्यों आप क्यों अपना हाथ मैला कर रहे हैं, ये सब चिल्लर पिल्लर है ये लोग. आई विल मैनेज लाइक दिस, डोंट वरी, यू टेक मदर सीता एंड गो. लॉर्ड राम सेज आई विल फाइट. तू जा, मदर सीता को तू गुफा में रख और तू गार्ड कर, मैं खेल. So Lakshman is not very clear. So some devotee had explained this, that once when Mother Sita, I told this story before over here. When Mother Sita was when Ram was asked to go for Vanvas, that time Mother Sita said, "I'm also coming with you." So Ram said, "Nee, you can't come with me to Vanvas. You have to be here." So she says, "But nee, I want to come with you. I want to come with you." So he says, "नहीं, but forest में बहुत मतलब वो कांटे वाटे बहुत कुछ है, you're very delicate, तुमको ये नहीं चलेगा." She says, "No, in fact, I love the forest. मेरे को forest बहुत अच्छा लगता है, and मेरे को कुछ austerity, I enjoy that austerity. I'll come with you." Then he says, "There are lots of animals, wild animals, वगैरह वगैरह." She said, "That's all right. You are there, so I'm safe." She says, "There are many demons also in the forest." So now Sita, she says that she tells Ram, "Looks like my father got me married to a eunuch." और क्षत्रिय आदमी को ऐसा, एक तो भगवान है, उसमें भी क्षत्रिय है, ऐसा insult, and she pushes back. She really pushes him back. Says, "Looks like my father got me married to a eunuch." Okay, कुछ demons आ रहे हैं, animals आ रहे हैं, ये सब का मेरे को डरा रहे. Because of that, I should not join you. And then Lord Ram says, "No, no, you come." Immediately he says, "You come with me." But that insult he still remembers. So he says, "मेरे को दिखाने का है इसको कि कैसा मैं कैसा क्षत्रिय." And in 1 hour, effortlessly, he kills all 14,000 warriors and Khar and Dushan. सबको मार देते. And मारीच भी रहता है ना उसमें कुछ तो. मारीच का अलग है. वो अलग है, जो भी है. So quickly. So if the Lord wants to kill, he becomes a killing machine. He just goes. And there are many stories in the Krishna book also where Krishna is fighting with, Jarasandha's army. 17 times he fought, and every time he used to destroy the whole army. Right? So when Krishna wants to kill, when Ram wants to kill, Parashuram wants to kill, they're like killing machines. Because he is the Supreme Lord, he can kill like anything. But sometimes he decides, I would kill. Let my devotee do. Right? That's what is mentioned over here. So sometimes he asks Hanuman, that Hanuman, you go, you kill. Then when Kalyavan was killed, he was killed through Mujukunda, if you know that story. Then Bhima, he used Bhima to kill Jarasandha. Jarasandha को तो 17 बार मारने का चांस मिला, 17 times. But every time he would kill his whole army. Imagine, he would come with so many. It was very efficient, rather than Krishna going and searching for so many demons all over and killing them. Jarasandha would accumulate all the demoniac people. He would make a massive army and सबको जमा करके मथुरा पे अटैक करता था. And then Krishna would kill all his army, all the demons would be killed, and only Jarasandha को अकेला जिंदा छोड़ दिया. जा चल, देखो छोड़ दिया. And Jarasandha is like, and you would go back and you would not believe. See, this is the nature of demoniac people. Even if they are defeated, even if they are humiliated, instead of learning a lesson that, oh, this I am making a mistake. The nature of demoniac people, that when you correct them, they become angry. They have committed a mistake due to which you may be angry, but when you correct them, they become angry. How dare you correct ego, right? So they have great ego, so therefore they don't want to be corrected. So like this, so Jarasandha would collect more and more armies and bring back. 17 times he did this, and 17 times Krishna defeated. But one time he said, "Chalo, chodo," and he just ran away from the battlefield. Why? Because उनका agenda अलग था. उनको मुचुकुंदा का deliverance करना था, और फिर उनको रुक्मिणी का भी अभी लेटर आने वाला है, मालूम है. वो सब उनका सब सेटिंग है. भगवान का he knows past, present and future. ये सब टाइम पास मेरे को नहीं करने का, चलो हटो. And he ran away from there, right? So the Lord, sometimes he kills himself, sometimes he kills through Bhima, through Arjuna. Arjuna, he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Nimitta Matra Bhava Sarvasachin. Says Sarvasachin. Sarvasachin meaning is Arjuna, who is Sarvasachin means someone who is ambidextrous, who can use left hand also and right hand also equally skillfully. So he could shoot like this and he could shoot like this, both. And when Arjuna was fighting in the war of Mahabharata, one of the names given to him is Bibhatsu. Bibhatsu means what? Dreadful, ghastly. Matlab, Arjuna was also, when he started shooting his arrows, imagine ना दोनों हाथ उतने ही सक्षम है, and non-stop, like a rain, it would shoot. He would shoot like, you couldn't see his hands moving like one circle continuously. Mahabharata describes that his hands are moving like a circle. Bhishma was also like that. When Bhishma was fighting, they could only see circle like this. ऐसा एक shoot किया, दूसरा arrow है, shoot किया, दूसरा arrow, and it's going like super fast. So sometimes Krishna used them to fight the battles. Of course, over a period of time, we can see, the influence of the demons also went down. But Krishna knew how to kill them either himself or through his devotees. However, there's one very interesting, beautiful point that comes out in the verse number 13. That after Duryodhan was, destroyed like this with his thigh broken, and he's lying there in the battlefield, awaiting death to come. Krishna came to that point and he saw. And when he saw Duryodhan, he felt very sorry, as it is described in verse number 13. It is said that when he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken, although he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Why? So Prabhupada explains that he says the Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer. Constrained, he's forced. भाई तुम मान नहीं रहे तो मैं क्या करूं? You are causing disturbance to others. I have to punish you. Otherwise, you will cause more disturbance, right? So Lord has to punish. But he says that he is not happy to award such punishments because the living entities are originally his parts and parcels. So जो पिता होता है या माता होती है, उसको बच्चे को एक तमाचा मारने में मजा नहीं आता. Okay. So even if you have been punished by your mother or father, you should understand that it is not enjoyable for them also. They are not sadists. They don't like it. But sometimes for correction it is needed. Right? So like that. So Krishna is so merciful that even though this person, Duryodhan, was such a demoniac person, when he saw him lying like that and suffering, waiting for death to come, Lord is so compassionate, he doesn't like to see. He also doesn't like to see. Right? Like that. So now one may question, we'll end with this, that material nature is so powerful, right? She's so powerful. When she is so powerful, why does Krishna need to incarnate for Vinashaya dushkritam? उनको आने की क्या जरूरत है? You look at the power of material nature. Her power to destroy is unmatched. Material nature can kill human beings, animals, plants, all species of life like this. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. How much unmatched power material nature has? Earthquake. Finished. सारे शहर के शहर ऐसे जमीन के अंदर जैसा सीता माई समा गई जमीन में, सारा शहर के शहर, देश के देश समा सकते हैं. One earthquake, volcanoes. Whole cities have been wiped out by volcanoes. Tsunami. So each element, earth में earthquake है, volcano है, water, tsunamis. Tsunamis have destroyed again so many states have just got washed out because of tsunamis. The waves in the ocean can destroy boats. Icebergs in the water can destroy boats. I've seen, right? Storms. So earth, water, air, storms, hurricanes, tornadoes. When tornadoes come, the US, the all powerful United States of America, such a powerful country with so many nuclear weapons and so much power. When a hurricane or tornado comes, what is the advice they give to the people? Just run for your life. जो सामान समेट सकते हो लो और निकल लो. Come back after the tornado is gone. And वो आके सब तहस नहस कर दे. Nothing you can. Right? So wind, fire. Through forest fires, I think half of Australia was burnt by forest fire. Last year, na? Last year. कैलिफोर्निया में तो उनका हर साल होता है, बट ऑस्ट्रेलिया में फॉरेस्ट फायर जो हुआ, apparently, I mean, billions of living entities died. Animals, so many animals, so much of their, flora, fauna, all destroyed. One forest fire. So nature has got tremendous power. If she wants to destroy, she can destroy very easily. वो fight नहीं है उसका. Disease, कोरोना. कोई सब भूल गए, वापस बार बार क्यों याद दिलाते हो मनोज कहीं के. एक बार हम भूल गए फिर भी याद दिलाते हो. याद रहना चाहिए ना. There are so many bacterial, viral diseases in this world, transmitted through air, transmitted through water, transmitted through touch, transmitted through sexual contact. कहीं से भी आ जाता है, कोई कंट्रोल नहीं. If material nature wants to kill you, she has so many ways. चलो वो कुछ नहीं, एक हार्ट अटैक दे दिया, लाइफस्टाइल डिजीज, हार्ट अटैक दे दिया, डायबिटीज दे दिया, तड़प तड़प के मरोगे. So material nature has got a lot of means. If she wants to do Vinashaya is a dushkritam, very easy, इतना क्या दिक्कत है, कर सकती हो. फिर भी भगवान क्यों आए? Why he comes personally? So he comes first to assist प्रकृति. ऐसे ही, that is his nature कि चलो I'll come and assist प्रकृति, ये balance re-establish करने के लिए I'll come again, and he establishes balance in a super efficient way. Like he said, the Jarasandha story, 17 times he brought, and pura Hari Bol, there's a whole conversation going on behind. Hari Bol, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So he through Jarasandha 17 times, so many Akshaunis of demons came. Mahabharat war, there were 18 Akshaunis that came and fought. So all this the Lord orchestrates. But the main reason for his appearance, main reason is what? Paritranaya sadhuna. He comes to gladden the hearts of the devotees. जिनका हृदय ऐसा सूख गया है भगवान के दर्शन को देखने के लिए, they are तरस रहे हैं. So to make them happy, to deliver the devotees, and to attract the hearts of innocent people, people like us who are, मतलब है बुरी आदतें हैं भर भर के, लेकिन अभी भी थोड़ा openness है to accept. So he comes to attract the hearts of the innocent and to remind them. We have forgotten where were we from. Originally we क्या कहाँ से शुरू किया? We are eternal spirit souls from the spiritual world. but हम भूल गए. We have forgotten the sweetness of our relationship with the Lord. We have forgotten. We have no idea about it. So he comes to attract our hearts, reminds us of the sweetness of our original existence in the spiritual world. And in that form, Vinashaya dushkritam, he becomes a killer machine. But in this form, he becomes Muhushwasa Kampa. He's shivering with fear in front of Mother Yashoda because she may punish him. Same Supreme Lord becomes so sweet and so relatable and so adorable that even the hearts of stone-hearted people like us gets transformed. Right? So, even though you see Krishna has killed so many demons, so many, he is never remembered in terms of his killing of demons. He's not worshipped like that. You see, Devika, Devika, we saw Mahishasur. Mahishasur Mardini, we see all the other, demigods killing someone, doing something. But Krishna, we see playing his flute, with Srimati Radharani by his side, right? Or we see him in form of Bal Gopal, eating laddu. Or we see him as Bal Gopal sucking his toe. Sweetness. We see the sweet form of the Lord and we worship the sweet form of the Lord in the form of Gopal or in relation to his pastimes of devotees. So our life is a series of choices. What choice will we make? Will we take the path of the demoniac, saying that, I am very intelligent, I know better than scripture, I know better than the devotees, I know better than Krishna, I know what is my life and I can set it. Are we going to take that path, the path of the demon? So, are we going to surrender there to, our own whims and fancies? So, which nature of Krishna do we turn to? Material nature and be governed by material nature, or do we surrender to Krishna? Our life is basically a series of choices that will either take us towards the Lord or take us into that demoniac species if we are not so careful. I'll end here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. So now I think we will have Damodar Ashtakam. So we are in the month of Kartik. Many of you have already attended, I suppose, some of the programs that we have had in the Kartik. Are we ready, Mataji? So we have already attended few, beautiful programs related to the Kartik month. So today in our Sunday feast, nice to see a lot of you have come. Please come every time we have the program. It's nice to see so many devotees over here. Please come again. And now we will have Damodar Ashtakam for the pleasure of Lord Damodar. Hare Krishna.